Hi, I'm Missy with On William Street, and we are here to help you become a more confident quilter, from the piecing to the quilting and everything in between. This week, we are going to talk about essential rulers to have as a beginning quilter. Now, all of the information that we're going to be talking about today can be found in a blog post, and we will link that in the description so that you can find it easily. You can also, when you're ready for your next quilting project, check out our store where you're going to be able to find lots of inspiring modern quilt patterns. So there are a lot of rulers out there on the market that are available for quilters, and it can be really overwhelming if you're starting out and you're really not sure what you need. And it can also be really hard on the pocketbook. Sometimes we have a budget and we have to be able to stick within our budget. So we want to share with you the rulers that we use most often and what we're using them for. So the first ruler that we're going to talk about, and the one that we use all the time, is going to be a 6 by 24 inch ruler. And you can there's different options for that. This one is 6 inches across, 24 inches long. And the thing that you really want to make sure you're looking at when you're looking for rulers of all sizes is make sure the numbers are clear and you've got good lines so you can make sure that your measurements and everything are going to be very accurate. The reason you really want one that is 24 inches long is when you're cutting strips of fabric off your long pieces, your fabric, when it's folded in half, is typically anywhere between 20 to 23 inches. So that 24-inch ruler is going to make sure that you can go from selvage to selvage when your fabric's folded in half. The other ruler that I mentioned when I said that there's actually two different options, this one is a 6.5 by 24 inch. So the difference in that is they've added this, by 24.5. They've added the the seam allowance that you need for quilting into the ruler for you. So if you need to make 6-inch squares finished, you'll need to cut them at 6.5, and this ruler is going to give you that extra ½ inch to be able to cut those squares without having to either use the measurements on your cutting table or using additional rulers. So that can be really handy to have as well. And again, you want to make sure that those numbers are nice and visible and that you've got good lines. I also like to make sure that I'm getting a ruler that's got the in-between lines, because a lot of times we're not going to be cutting at 1/8 in the quilting world, but there are times when we're going to be cutting at that 1/8. So being able to have those individual marks is going to give you that option. So when you're cutting, sometimes flying geese, you're going to need to cut using those 1/8 marks as well. The other thing that you want to make sure with these 6 by 24 inch rulers that is just really nice to have is these angles. So you've got a 45, a 30, and a 60-degree angle on this ruler. So when you're cutting things on the bias, having that 45 makes it really nice. We don't really use the 30 and the 60 as often, but this 45 angle is really nice to have. The second ruler that we use constantly, it is probably one of our most favorite rulers, is this little tiny thing. It is a 1-inch by 12-inch ruler. So again, you want to make sure you've got some good visible numbers, good lines. It still has the 1/8-inch lines on there, so we can get really nice and precise. This ruler is really great for paper piecing. It's always right there next to us when we're paper piecing, when we're trimming those edges. You don't want to necessarily have a big bulky ruler that you're working with little paper pieces. And so this works really nice when you're just trimming those seam allowances, making sure that it's left as a 1/4 inch. This is our definite go-to ruler. So those two rulers are really the most essential rulers for a beginner quilter. You can do pretty much everything that you need to do with having one or potentially those two rulers. Like I mentioned, you really do need to have the 6 by 24. The 1 by 12 is just a nice perk to have. However, there is one other ruler that we really enjoy, and that is because we do a lot of half square triangles. So when you check out our shop, you can see that there are a lot of half square triangle patterns. So this is a ruler that when I found it, it was a lifesaver. It's so nice when I'm trimming all of those half square triangles. This one is specifically for trimming half square triangles, and it does 1/2 inches on this side and 1 inches on this side. So depending on how big your triangle needs to be, your half square triangle needs to be finished, you can do 2.5 inches, you can do 5 inches. So this one is just really nice to have as you're trimming that up. This one is a quilt in a day ruler, and you can use it as just a square ruler as well if you needed to have just a nice big square ruler to line edges up and help with additional lengths and widths that you're using with your other rulers along your cutting mat as well. But if you're doing half square triangles, this one is definitely a must. So as you're getting started, remember you can absolutely start simple. Go out and get you just a really good 6 by 24 inch ruler, maybe the 1 by 12 ruler as well. And then as you're going through and making different quilts and finding your design and your style, you're going to be able to see what types of rulers that might be good to add into your studio to help you go through and complete those quilts. And don't forget, you can find all of this information in a blog post. Find that link in the description below, and make sure to check out our shop for your next quilting project. Now, if you like what you saw, make sure to hit the like button in YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified every time we post a new video. Go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll be able to get all of the information about things that we're working on, things that we're doing. And you can also check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and we will see you next week.